If you take TypeScript, the main difference between JavaScript and TypeScript is object-oriented programming support is there. Okay, so OOPS concept support is there. So the main purpose of OOPS is reusability as well as to develop the applications with some specific architectures like MVC architecture, okay, and their architecture. These type of architectures we can use here. The main advantage of OOPS is reuse. Okay, we can work with reusability. Okay, so here in this object-oriented programming concept, okay, many things are there. So we have to discuss about class, object, interface, S1, constructor, like that. Here many concepts are there. We are going to start these object-oriented programming concepts. So now here, for example, if you take any TypeScript file, I'm going to open Visual Studio Code. Yesterday we created pro2.ts file. In this file, just one function is there. Yeah, in this function we can write the set of statements, right? In this function we can place the set of statements. So here this function is for reusability. So once you declare this function, so those logics we can call from different locations by using the name of this function like that. Yes, that is the main purpose of function. Why we are using functions for reusability. Now what is class? Class is collection of functions. Class is collection of functions and variables. Okay, we can also call them as properties and methods. Okay, now here one concept is there. So that concept functionalities I want to bind as a group. For example, user module is there. In that user module, for registration, some functions we are creating. For login, some functions we are creating, as well as logout. All these functions I want to group. I want to group all these functions. In this point of we are taking the support of class. Is it clear? Now what is class? Collection of functions as well as variables. So here, if anybody accessing our class, some access accessing our class, he can use the functions which we declare inside the class, as well as he can also use the variables. Everything he can use like that. So the main purpose of class is for grouping. You want to group functions as well as variables as one entity. In that point we are taking the support of class. Yes, so many definitions are there. So class is collection of objects. Some people they're telling class is collection of properties and methods. Like that, here many definitions. Finally, what it contains? Class contains what? Members. So what type of members we have in this class? One is okay, properties, and another one is methods. Yes, so class is collection of members. Two types of members we are using, properties and methods. So what is property? A variable inside the class we are calling as property. What is method? A function inside the class we are calling as method. That's all. Is it clear? Like that we can work with these classes. Now we are discussing how to create the class. Now just class. So you have to use name of the class like this. And this is block. So just like function, how we declare function, in the same way we declare the class here. Okay. Now inside the class, I want to create one function. So usually know how to create the function. Generally, we are creating functions like this. Function, name of the function like this. But now this function I want to create within the class. Okay. Now how can you create? Just I'm using same syntax now. But this is not valid because if we are placing any function inside the class, no need to use this function keyword. Outside the class only, you have to use that function keyword. Within the class, you can remove that one. Simply, you can use function one. Okay, in this function, just any statement you can use here. Let function something like execute. Like that, you can place, okay, different types of number of functions within the class here. Like that, one more function fn2 and fn3. Okay, like that here. For example, user registration, that is one more function, and user login. Like that, you can group all these functions as one entity by using class. If anybody accessing our class, they can use this function as well, this function, every function they can use here. Like that. So logics. So logics functions, what functions contains logics? These logics we can categorize it with the help of classes. In our project development, I want to categorize the logic. In this point, I will take the support of classes. So one concept logic you can find as one class. Another concept logics you can find as another class. Like that, every concept logics, you can bind as classes. Yes, now here, this is the segregation of logics. Simply can call it as we are separating the logics of a concept in the form of classes. Okay, now here one function is there. Now I want to access this function. Okay, now here, how can we access? So first of all, one concept I'm going to show you, fn2. Okay, so here, hi message. So if I call fn2, no error is there. Okay, we are not getting any error because that fn2 is available where outside the class. Directly you can access. But if I'm trying to call fn1, error is coming there. Now I am asking you one question, why this error it displays? Now here you can answer this one. So here when I'm trying to call the function inside the class, then what the output I'm getting here? Error message I'm getting. So what the reason we are getting error? Tell me. Yeah, I unmute all. Just answer this question. See, one thing you should listen. I'm not asking you how to access this function. My question is why we are getting error. That is my question. Now you tell
That
me.
function is already declared. Same name has already declared.
No, one time only I declared I'm calling. That's all. See, I
The
declared
scope
two
of
functions.
function one is
We
within
are
the class.
calling outside the class.
First of all, so two functions are there, fn1, fn2. fn1 is inside the class, fn2 outside the class. If I'm trying to call fn2, no error is there. But if I'm trying to call fn1, error is coming. My question, why it gives the error message? That is my question.
So you have to
We
call
have
it
to
by
create object.
we are calling outside the class, so
No,
we have
I'm
to
not
create
asking you. That only I told you. I'm not asking how to access. How to access, if you ask, then you can tell me how to create object. First of all, my question is, what is happening? Why it displays this error message? That is my question. First error, problem, if you find out problem, then solution we can go. Solution, nothing but we have to create the object. Okay. What is the problem I am asking?
Maybe we are calling function directly. That's why.
Sorry?
No, the function what you are calling is
inside the class. It
Inside
is
the
outside
class
of
only. Yeah. My question is, so fn1 is available inside the class, you're telling. So my question, can't I access class functions from outside?
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah,
Yes.
it is possible now.
The
We can access class functions from outside. But here error is coming. What the reason?
directly you cannot access.
You are telling the solution for me. Why directly I cannot access? Actually, what is happening? Why it is giving the error message? That is my question.
function keyword.
We don't know the class type, maybe.
No. Okay, so I will tell you
Function
here.
one, there is no function with name function one outside the class.
So within the class that function one is there, that I'm trying to access.
First, we need to call the function
Then,
one, baby.
yeah, okay,
Then
okay.
function
So
two.
I will tell you the reason. So first of all, why it is given the error message, that I will tell you. Yes. See, 1 second. Now here, this is memory location. What is that? RAM. Okay, and here if you observe, this is our program. Inside this program, we have one class. So inside this class, we have one function. What the name of this function? I have given fvn1. And outside the class, we have fvn2. Okay. Now here, by default, what are the statements we have written here? Those statements means here, outside the class, what the functions, everything declared, those functions, memory is allocating for these functions by default. But for class, memory is not allocating. Okay, so means class functionalities are not loading into memory location. Is it clear? We have to load those functionalities into memory location. How can I load these functionalities into memory location? So you have to allocate some memory in the RAM, then call these class functions into this memory location. Is it clear? So for that, generally we are, so the main reason is by default class is not loading into memory location. That is the main reason. Is it clear? So we have to load this class into memory location, then we can access the class members. So for that, we are using one programming statement here, that is nothing but object. So that memory location we are calling as object. Now here, if you observe this one, yes, this memory location we are calling as object. Means we have to create the object. Object is, what is object? Nothing but a memory location which contains properties as well as methods. Okay, so here for this class which we declared in our program here, for this class we have to allocate some memory here, and from here this class members we are loading into that memory location. That concept we are calling as object. Is it clear? Now, so generally we are using statements like this to create the object. Yes. So what is our class name? CLS1. Any name obj is equal to new CLS1. This is the common statement which we are using to create the object. Yes or no? Now here in this point of view, I have some doubts here. So first of all, what is this new keyword? Why we are using this new keyword? You tell me now. What is the use of
Creating
this
a
new
new
keyword?
It
creating
Yeah,
creates the
it
Creating the
is.
object.
or creates
Okay.
the memory location on memory.
Yes, it allocates memory in RAM. Is it clear? And now here, this CLS1. What is the CLS1? What is the
Constructor.
CLS1? Yes, very good. Constructor. It is constructor. It is constructor. Constructor means nothing but a type of function. Okay, constructor is one type of function, special function. So here, this constructor, if you take this constructor is available by default within the class. It is not explicit constructor, by default built-in constructor. So here when you are calling the constructor, then this class is invoking, and here this new memory location is occupying the methods of this class. Is it clear? So like that, so if you place the constructor, what the meaning here? Which class members you are loading into new memory location. So that indication we are providing in this form. Okay, CLS1 is nothing but constructor. Now here my question is, with this statement, object is created or not? With this statement,
Created.
object is created or not?
Created.
Yes, object is created. Fine. Now here,
Because
now what is this OBJ now?
reference for the object. Yeah.
Yeah, it is nothing but a reference variable. It is nothing but reference variable of object. And what is CLS1?
Reference class.
Which type of object is that? Which type of reference?
Yeah, it is nothing but data type. Is it clear? So OBJ is, I told you OBJ is one variable. So variable contains data type. So now OBJ, it is not any number variable. It is not storing any number variable, I mean number value, and it is not storing any string value. So it is not any primitive data type. So it is nothing but here user defined data type. It is nothing but the class data type. Okay. So CLS1 is not class name. It is nothing but data type. Is it clear? But here error is coming. Why? Because in TypeScript, data types, where we are providing data types before variable or after variable.
After the variable.
After the variable using one character. What is that? Colon. Yes. Now here you have to give like this. And the next thing is variable. Variable starts with one keyword. I told you. What is that?
Where?
Yes, this is the way how to create object to the class. Is it clear? So here by default class members are not loading into the RAM memory location. So we have to allocate new memory and call the class members. That memory you can refer with one variable. For that variable I have given here OBJ, and you have to provide the data type variable prefix with var. Okay, this is the statement which we have given here. Now if you observe this one, yes. So this is the memory location. In this memory location, new keyword allocates some memory here. Okay, and here constructor, when we are calling, then this memory is filling with the members. That location we are referring to one variable. What the variable I have given here? OBJ. That is the reference of the class. Now you want to access the members of this. Actually, we can call it as object. Yes, this memory we are calling as object. You want to access the members of this object, then we are taking the support of OBJ. Then here, how can I call? Just we are using OBJ dot SFN. Now it's not raising any error message. Save this, and here just open the command prompt. Shift plus Control plus C I have given. Then TSC PRO2 hyphen W I have given. So I compile with watch mode. Now go to that location, C drive. What is our project folder name? PROZ. In this location, my file is the HTML file. Once let me open with edit plus. There we have to call that JS file. Script source is equal to which program we executed now? PRO2 dot JS. Got that? Okay, save this and just double click on this. What the output we got? Function executed. We got this output here. Means here, yes, this message we are getting. This is the way how to place a function inside the class and how to place, how to create the object to that class. My requirement is, I told you just now, class contains both two types of members we can place. One is properties, another one is methods. Method is nothing but a function. Property is nothing but a variable. Actually here, yesterday we discussed how to place the variables, and today also we discussed how to create one variable here. By using one keyword, we are using what is that? Where, but it is not allowed inside the class. See this. Where x colon number is equal 100 I have given. It raises the error message. Okay. So why? Because if we are placing any variable inside the class, don't use where. So because where is not class scope. Yesterday I told you where is function scope. Is it clear? So if you are placing a variable inside the function, then var is allowed, but not inside the class. Then what are the scopes available to place the variable inside the class? For that, we are using access modifiers or access specifiers like public, private. These type of access specifiers are available. But right now, I'm not discussing these access specifiers. In next session, we'll discuss. So my requirement is I want to place a variable, then simply can remove this var. That's all. By default it becomes public now. Is it clear? So this is the variable declaration. You should remember these 2 points. So at the time of placing a function inside a class, don't use function keyword. Second point, at the time of placing a variable inside the class, don't use var keyword. Is it clear? Fine. Now here, just I want to print that variable on the message box. Alert. What the reference variable of this class object? Obj dot what the function variable name x. Now save this. Automatically watch mode is going on. When I am refreshing this one, then function executed and 100 is the output we are getting. So like that, here one function I created inside this class. For example, if it is any class related to user, okay, user details or user class, then user related login functionalities and the logout, like that many functionalities you can maintain within the class. So finally, what is class? Collection of logics. Function, every function contains set of logics. All these logics you want to bind as a group, then we are taking the support of class. Like that, in our application development, n number of classes we are creating based on the requirements. Is it clear? Fine. So this is the way how to create the object and how to access. Okay. So now you have any queries in this point of, you can ask me first of all. Yes. All of you
Sir,
clear?
global variables we are giving without var, right?
Yeah, class scope variables.
Oh, okay.
Yes, class variables, we don't give var keyword. Is it clear?
So why shouldn't we use function keyword in the class?
Why?
Why should not we use function keyword in the class?
Yeah, actually that syntax is, they have given syntax like this. First thing is class contains variables as well as functions, right?
Yes,
So
yes.
function, and we are declaring function. This is the syntax of the function. So again, why should we give that function keyword? This is the declaration syntax of function in TypeScript. Even in
Okay.
JavaScript also, you can create the classes. You are declaring the functions like this only inside the classes. JavaScript, okay, new
Means
version means
same
from
like
ECMAScript
variables.
6 onwards. ECMAScript 6 onwards classes we can create in JavaScript. There also we are creating the functions like this. But some technologies inside the class, we should provide function like this. But in TypeScript, it is not there. They have given syntax like this.
Okay.
Like variables. Yes, no, sir. Like
Yeah.
variables we are not giving anywhere. Like functions also we are
Where?
not giving any function keyword.
Yeah. So here you can use public like that, but those things I will discuss later. Even for variables as well as functions, we can use public, private, like the different types of scopes are there. I think you people may have some idea on this. We will discuss that next level.
Yeah, sir.
Yes,
We can create objects in within class now.
I didn't get you. Your voice is breaking.
We can create objects within class also, right?
Yeah, within class also you can create the objects.
Then, acha,
Yes.
okay.
Inside the class also we can create the objects. So two classes are there. Yes. So one class properties I want to access from another class. Then we are creating objects inside this class. We are creating object for another class inside the current class. Like that, one class, another class, these accessibilities you want to use, then one class object we can create in another class. Those things we'll discuss,
Understood.
because at the time of import and export, so that time, so we are creating two classes in two different files. Okay, so we are importing one file. That file class we are creating object in the current class. Okay, like that, these type of functionalities we can do. I will discuss those things next.
Thank you.
Next, any other queries? Okay, so what is constructor?
Constructor is a special type of setter, sir.
A special type of
Setter.
yeah. So function or whatever it may be. So why we are using constructors?
To
To
initialize an
initialize
object.
the objects.
Initialize the
Yeah, to
object, sir.
initialize the objects. Objects are initializing with the help of constructor. Yes, by default, every class contains built-in constructor, right?
Constructor.
Yeah, we can also create explicit constructors. So how to create the explicit constructors we'll discuss now. Just for that, constructor, the keyword we are using here. So now here just alert the constructor execute. Okay, fine. Now here just a normal function I want to create. FEN. Now alert something like function execute. Now here where x colon CLS1 is equal to new CLS1 I have. Okay, so just I have given like this where x colon or xy colon CLS1 is equal to new CLS1. Even you can use single character, that is not issue, but it is not recommended. That's why it displays error message at the time of creating the variables. So you should maintain multiple characters. Even if I give single character, that's not issue. So it displays error message here, but it will execute. For example, here I'm using so x dot fen one I have given like this. Okay, save this one and refresh now. What the output construct is executed and function is executed. But according to standards, variable should contain minimum 2 characters. So that's why xy I have given. Then you can use xy. Okay, now same output will come. So temporarily I'm removing this one. Now if you observe here, so at the time of creating the object only, okay, once object is created, immediately that constructor statement is executing. So constructor fires itself when we are creating the class object. Is it clear? It is firing itself when we are creating the class object. When the class object created, so after that constructor is executing. So here what the use of this constructor? Mainly in your technologies you are using constructor to initialize some variables, database connections, to open the database connections. Okay, like that in different purpose reasons we are using this constructor. Means what are the operations you want to do at the time of object creation, those operations we are placing inside the constructor. Is it clear? Now here mainly in Angular, one reason is that to use the constructor. What the reason? Dependency injection. Okay, you're using constructors for dependency injection. Yes. Now here, so dependency injection means one module, not module here, one component we are injecting into another component. In that point of we are taking the support of constructor. But in Angular, I will discuss you how to create the components and how to inject those components. So in that point of view, mostly we are working with the constructor. So main advantage of constructor is nothing but to execute some statements at the time of creating the class object. Is it clear? So this is the way how to create explicit constructor. So what the keyword we are using now? Constructor is the keyword we are using here. Is it clear, all of you? Yes, by default, every class contains implicit constructor. We can also create explicit constructor. In this point of view, we are taking the support of constructor keyword. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Okay, fine. So like that, we are creating object as well as we are creating constructor. So class is collection of members. There are two types of members you can place inside the class: properties and methods. A variable declaration within the class we are calling as property. Function declaration within the class we can call as method. Okay, fine. Now here let me delete this. One class is there.
Can we overload the constructor?
Yeah, we can pass the arguments. By passing the arguments, you can overload the constructor. Okay.
Can I make
Now,
two constructors?
yeah, overloading concept, you can change the arguments here, different arguments. Okay, so overloading is depending upon the number of arguments and type of arguments. But here in TypeScript, see, constructor, okay, x colon number I have given. Yes, now here I let x. Now where obj colon cls1 is equal to new cls1 are given like this. Okay, obj colon cls1 is equal to new cls1. Now here it is giving error message. Is it clear? Why you have to pass one argument like that? But
So
now
can I
what I'm
construct
doing?
Yeah, this was
Sorry.
my question.
Yeah, I'm showing you. I'm going to use so this type of okay, not allowed here. Is it clear? So here
Okay.
only one is possible.
One
Okay.
constructor is possible.
Yeah, only single constructor. We can't use multiple constructors like this. Okay, now here I can remove this one. Okay, now you can see that. Then you have to pass. Is it clear? So
Yes.
explicit constructor means nothing but overloading the internal constructor. First point. Is it clear? But with multiple signatures, it is not possible. Is it clear? So only one signature we can place. Now, for example, with
can I
class.
create another constructor like using with the 3 arguments? Can I?
Sorry.
Can I create a 3-argumented constructor?
Yeah, only one constructor you have to place. Is it clear?
Oh, that time I
Yeah,
have to
so you
remove
can.
that 2-argument
Yeah,
constructor.
yeah. Then you have to place another one. Okay. So with the class name I have given. So generally in other languages, we can use constructor with class name. Yes or no? Yes.
Sir.
With
Yes,
the class name I have given like this, x colon number I have given like this. Now is it constructor or not?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
This is the
Yes.
constructor.
Yes, sir. So I will show you now. I'll let. Okay. So constructor 1 I have given or CYN I have given. I'll let X I have given here. Now see this. So according to you, these two must fire. Yes or no? Or else if I pass one argument, then error will come here. Now you can see error is there. Because you are thinking this is constructor, but it is not constructor here. Okay, in TypeScript we are using constructor keyword to create the constructor. It comes
This is
under
method.
normal method. That's all. Is it clear? So that's why here only single constructor is allowed here. So in that constructor signature you can place according to your requirement. Okay, one argument or multiple arguments, that is your requirement. So with the class name it is not a constructor. Understanding?
Yes, yes.
Okay, that is the concept.
Is there
Okay,
any
fine.
specific reason why there is it's not allowing? See, if in our Java we can
Yeah,
have the
because
constructor with the,
yeah. So here when you are coming to the overloading concept, so actually what are the conditions for overloading? Tell me. First one, number of arguments. Yes.
Yes.
Same name, different arguments.
Yeah, number of arguments. Next one,
and
order
type of
of
arguments,
arguments and type of arguments. So finally, when you compile this program, TypeScript program, so it is converting into JavaScript. Yes. In JavaScript,
Yes, yes.
types are not there. In JavaScript, there are no data types. Yes or no? That's
Okay.
why
Yes, yes.
it is not supporting this overloading concept. Is it clear?
Thank you.
That is the reason. Fine. Okay, now remove this one. Okay. So here, see all of you, just x colon number is equal to 100 I have given. Okay. So x colon number is equal to 100. I'm taking one function. So now here in this function, I want to access this variable. Then we are taking the support of one keyword here. What that keyword we are using? This keyword. This refers current object. Yes. So here you want to access, okay, class variables inside the function. Then we are taking the support of this keyword. So now here, for example, let x I have given. Error is there. Actually here it is looking for local x. Is it clear? So now just where obj colon cls1 is equal to new cls1 I have given. Yes. So I created object, then obj dot function 1 I have given. Yes. Now here, what is the output you are expecting in this point of view? Are you expecting 100 output?
100 output as a alert, sir. As alert, sir.
Alert text I have given. So in this message box, so which value you are expecting? Are you expecting 100 or not?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah, okay, I will show you now. When I refresh, output is nothing but here, we are not getting any output here. So because here x is not class scope variable. Is it clear? You want to
Yes.
access, then we have to use
This
dot.
this dot.
This dot
Now here, when I refresh, then what the output we got? 100 is the output. Now here, what is this now? It is nothing but this is an object refers the current class. Use it to access the members of this class. Now I have one requirement. I have one requirement. So what is my requirement? So I want to place, actually this is class scope variable. Yes. So we can access this variable from any function inside the class. I want to maintain a function scope variable. Then we are using var x colon number is equal to 333 I have given. So now this x is available inside this function because it is function scope variable. So now here alert, if I give x, then what is the output you are expecting? 333. This dot x means class variable it is calling. Simple x inside this function variable we are calling here. Now when I am refreshing now, you can see 100 as well as 333. So here if you observe within the function you are declaring the variable. Yesterday I told you what is the keyword we are using. Where is the keyword? Is it clear? So like that, you should recognize the difference between class scope variable as well as function scope variable. Inside the function, if you place any variable, then we must use var keyword. Yes, if I remove this one, then error is there because function scope variables contains, okay, what is that? Var keyword. Then how can I access that function scope variable? Directly can call because inside the function only it is declared. Yes or no? So that's why directly we are calling this one. But class variables we want to access, then we have to use this dot, this keyword we are using here. Yes. Now this point you clear all of you? Yes or no? All of you clear with this point?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes. Now here, just remove this. So my question is, I think you people have some idea on other technologies. Based on that only I'm asking, can we place a function inside another function of class? That is my question.
No.
Can we place a function inside another function of class? Yes or no?
No, no.
No?
No, sir.
Okay, I don't know about Java, .NET, these technologies, but here it is possible. Okay, so we can place, I think in Java, .NET also it is possible. I'm not sure about that. I don't have idea on this Java, .NET and other technologies, but here we can place, even in PHP also we can place a function inside another function of class. Then how can we place that? We are going to discuss. Now here my requirement is, first of all, I want to I want to print that x value, then you know how to print this dot x I have given here. Okay, now save this, and if I refresh it, then what the output we got? 100 is the output we got here. Now here, just one more function I'm placing. If I place like this, then it will give you the error message, because inside the function, if you place any other function, then we are using function keyword. Now you can see here fn2. This fn2 is available inside fn1. fn1 is available inside this class. So this is the concept of nested function. So in this function, just I'm using our fn2. I'm changing this name as fn inner, meaningful name I have given. Now here just I'm using alert. Okay, so just output from something I have given. Now how can you call this function? Just you can call like this. Second. Now save this. See, observe the syntax. CLS1 class is there. There one variable. Okay, so instance variable, we can also call it as instance variable, and function one is there. So this function I'm printing that this dot x. Okay, inside that function we place another function fn inner. So this fn inner, when I'm calling, then it will display alert message, and here fn1 I'm calling with the help of class reference. Now if I refresh, what the output you're expecting? First of all, you will get 100. Function one is called, and after that here you are getting output from. Is it clear? Fine. So here, if you observe, this function is executed, and inside this function also I call here that function is executed. Fine. So this is the concept of inner functions. Now my requirement is in this message box, I want to print x variable. Now how can I print that x variable? Just you tell me. In this message box, I want to print inside the inner function, I want to call the class variable x variable. How can I call?
New class
So
one.
using this keyword.
Yeah, your answer is this dot x, right?
No,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
New.
Yeah.
I'm creating a constructor
Someone is
and
saying
calling
no.
that. Yes, sir.
Someone is saying no. Who is that? Why it is no?
Because function inside a function, maybe we are using function keyword here, so it's not
Yes.
related to class.
Yes,
No,
that
sir.
is correct
It's
answer. So
this.
here first, yeah, let me show you. This dot x is error now. Okay, I have given this dot x. Save this, and here I am going to place alert. Okay, from inner, that message box also I'm displaying here. Okay, now if I refresh, yes, this is from outside the inner function, means this is from fn1. After that, inner is calling, but next level I'm printing this dot x, undefined is the output. Yes, you can see this one, because here when I give function keyword, then it is not coming within the class, means this function is not belongs to class scope. Understanding? Because class scope
Yes.
functions should not contain function keyword. Now my question is, how can I place a function inside the another function of class to access class members? My requirement is what? I want to access class members. For that, in ECMAScript, ECMAScript is providing the standards for these client-side scripts. The ECMAScript is providing standards for JavaScript, TypeScript, and other client-side technologies. In ECMAScript 6 version, they introduced arrow functions, very important concept. We can also call them as lambda functions. Is it clear? So this arrow function you can place within the function of a class. Now I am going to show you how to work with this arrow function. So now here Yes. So this is function inner is there. Now fn inner 2. One more function I'm creating here. Yes. So what the function name I given? Fn inner 2. So this we have to start with any keyword like where, like that. Is it clear? So now here just I have given like this. This is the syntax of arrow function. So I'm not using function keyword, but I have given where. Where is also indication for this function. So now if I don't use where, then error will come. Either where or let, anything we can use here to declare the arrow functions. Okay, now here I have given this where or let anything. So this is function name, and this is function signature, and this is arrow, and this is the block of function. Yes. So this is fn inner 2 I have given. Now in this fn inner 2, just I'm using alert inner 2 and alert this dot. Now you can see automatically suggestions are coming here. X I have given. Save this, and when I'm refreshing now 100, this is from where? Yes, this statement is executed. After that you are calling, one second, I'm not calling fn inner 2. Let me call that one also. Now fn inner I am calling, as well as fn inner 2 I am calling here. Now here once refresh, as 100 is coming, execute the statement. After that you are calling fn inner, means it will execute from inner. After that undefined. Next you are trying to call fn inner 2. Now here inner 2. After that what the output got? 100, means this output is coming here. Okay, now just some text I want to concatenate for your clarity from inner 2. Okay, now here once again refresh this. Okay, 100 from inner, undefined from inner first function, second inner is executed, then from inner to what the value we have? 100. Yes, like that. So this is called as arrow function, or we can also call as lambda function. So what is the requirement here? So I want to place nested functions inside the class. In this point of, we are taking the support of this one. So in Angular, inside the constructor, we are calling other functions. Okay, so for example, HTTP client object is there. So that object related functionalities we are calling from constructor. Then we are taking the support of inner functions. Like that in many locations in Angular application, so we are placing the nested functions within the class. Then from these nested functions, I want to access the class variables. Then we are taking the support of lambda functions or inner functions. I think this concept is available in other technologies also, like java.net, but I'm not sure about this. Okay, now you guys have any queries in this point of, you can ask me. Clear this?
Sir, please explain arrow function once again, sir.
Means you are asking the declaration style, or what is arrow function?
Declaration style.
Nothing is there. So here I'm going to place, yes. So syntax, if you take, yes, okay, if you take this syntax, now what the syntax of this arrow function? Where or let keyword, then function name. Okay, then equal to, then this is the signature arguments list. Then we are using arrow like this. That's all. So this is function block. Here you're writing the statements of function. This is the syntax how to use arrow functions.
Yes, sir, whenever we are using the arrow function, then only we can go for where or let.
Example, if you want, where, okay, fn x equal to arrow like this. Now here you can pass the arguments like this: x colon number, y colon string, like that. So here in our program, in this program, just I am using. So here y colon string argument. Now at the time of calling, you have to pass the arguments. For example, Scott argument. Then you can directly print here alert y. Like that, this is signature of the function arguments list. Save this, and if I'm refreshing, 100 is there from inner, then undefined. So this is Scott from second function. After that, inner 2, and we are getting this out like. Okay, so this is the syntax and this is the example. Clear?
Hello, sir.
Any other queries?
Sir, in first function inner, sir. First function inner, we get the undefined, sir.
Because I have
Yeah.
given function keyword now.
Yes.
When you give function keyword, then it is not coming under class scope. Is it clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
The class scope function should
I got
not
it.
contain function keyword. Here, second, if you observe, there is no function keyword.
Yes.
That is the main difference.
And can you use the arrow function in the first function inner, sir?
Yeah, here in this function inner, we can use,
Yeah.
but it cannot access the class scope because already here function declaration, function keyword we have given now.
Yes, sir. Then, sir,
That's
then
why
how
this-
can I got the result 100?
So here you got the result 100. Here undefined you got. So here you got what the result of this dot x undefined. But in this syntax, here you got 100. So first 100 you are telling, na? First 100 is coming from here. If I remove this one, okay, fn1, I printed 100. I removed that one. Now you can see this. When I'm refreshing, now first inner is executed now. Means this function is executed. They display this message, and here undefined you will get undefined.
Yes.
But from second inner, okay, y value I'm printing. What is y here? Nothing but the argument which we are passing, that value. Scott is there. After that, just inner 2. Yes, it will print inner 2. After that, this dot x with this string. Now here 100 is the output. Now this is only class scope inner function, but this is not class scope inner function. Got it? Yes or no?
Yes, sir. Got it. Yes, sir. Yes,
Any
sir.
other queries? This is very, very important
No, sir.
because every time in Angular applications, we are working with these inner functions. Is it clear? Yes? Okay, fine. I think all of you got idea on these concepts, right? So we discussed how to create the class, how to work with the object, and next one, how to define the constructor inside the class. And we also discussed about inner function, means arrow functions, how to declare the arrow functions, and how to access the class scope variables from the arrow functions. That is clear, all of you? Yeah. So now we need to discuss about inheritance concept. Okay, so how to access a class from another class, that inheritance concept we have to discuss. But today I am closing the session now because I have some work by 8 o'clock. Okay, so that's why today I am stopping the session. So tomorrow again I will take up to 8:20 tomorrow onwards. Okay, due to some emergency I have to go out. Okay, I will discuss tomorrow inheritance concepts, and next one here access modifiers. These type of concepts we will discuss from tomorrow. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Any other queries you people have? All of you clear with these concepts now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So see you in tomorrow's session. So tomorrow, definitely tomorrow onwards we'll cover up to 8:20 like that. Okay. Because I have to go another town near to me. That is the reason. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.